Howdy, y'all. This is Rachel, the Modern Shaman, and I am here to answer a Q&A question, but actually today it's just a topic kind of that someone sent, not a question. So before I jump into the question, like always, I'll remind you that you can access this video later on the Modern Shaman YouTube channel. And also, if you'd like to connect with me to set up, a personal session or just find out who I am or what I'm up to, where I'm going to be in terms of my summer schedule for events, you're welcome to go to my website, which is themodernshaman.net. Okay, the topic that was brought up, the email that they sent was kind of long and talked about different personal experiences, so I'm not going to share that with everyone. But the basis was the morality of psychics and why some psychics are not necessarily spiritually evolved, and how some people assume that because they have extrasensory perception that means that they are an evolved human or have awakened in their consciousness and awareness of spirit, and kind of the ethics behind what I do and asking what my ethics and morality standards are for what I do. So that's a broad topic, I know, but I'm just kind of going to pull it all together and put it under the umbrella of psychic ethics or morality. Okay, let me center in and see where Spirit wants to take this. So I think, like I just said, and those of you that are in my career or have dealt with psychics or have any connection to, mediums or those that claim to have extra spiritual connection, so to speak, will have in some ways experienced psychic ethics, whether it's good or bad. I've said this on other videos, but I'll say it again. Personally, I believe that everyone has these abilities. This is not something unique to, me as a person or the next psychic or somebody who's a famous channeler. They have just practiced these vibrational patterns. I have just practiced this vibrational pattern over many lifetimes, and so it may be easier for me to remember how to access and connect in these ways. And I chose a specific body that my mental capacities and emotional body, auric body, are a little gentler and easier and more receptive to my extrasensory perception. So I do believe that everyone can do this. I am aware that there are some people who have practiced these patterns just like a habit, just like learning to play the trumpet or some instrument, that have practiced utilizing these abilities and have not necessarily practiced their spiritual connection or evolution to spirit. And sometimes that can be harmful more than helpful. It's my belief, again, these are just my personal opinions, this is not a universal truth, and you need to always process everything that's said to you in your life through your own internal guidance system and decide what's relevant for you and what's not. But from my own personal view, I hold this incredibly high, and I think part of it comes from just a respect, that I respect all human beings and really all beings, all energetic expressions, but to the point that I want to honor their experience. I don't want to take away anything. I want to only uplift and honor and amplify their desires for their life, and whatever that desire may be, meaning whatever reason they come to me to receive. My heart is one centered in love, and I think that is a defining factor in those that are in my field that may be mediums or psychics or intuitives or studying the paranormal, acting as a shaman or a bridge between the spirit world and the physical world. Those that have a centered heart in love and are coming from the space of love versus those that are coming from a space of self, service to self versus service to others. That's a term, the law of one always talks about that. And that holds true for me. That resonates with me. I remember when I was a kid, some book I was reading, I don't know, but it's always stuck with me, told a story about how a mother brought her child to see Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, and he was, sitting on a pillow, and she said, "I want you to tell my son to stop eating sugar. It's really bad for him, and it's causing all these, allergic reactions, and it's really bad for his body, and yet he keeps choosing to eat it. I'd like you to tell him to stop eating it." And he said, "Come back in a week." And, she had waited in this long line to see him and just kind of frustrated at this point, like, okay, I'm going to have to come back in a week. But that's all he gave her. And so they left, and a week later, they waited in that same long, long line. They finally got up to see Gandhi, and she said the same thing. She said, "Can you tell my son now to please stop eating sugar? You told me to come back in a week, and I'm here." And so he looked at the son and kind of held his hands and looked at him intently and said, "Stop eating sugar." And the mom was like, "Okay, I waited a week for you to just say those words." And she said, "Well, why didn't you just tell him that a week ago?" And he said, "Well, a week ago I was eating sugar and I hadn't stopped. And I wasn't behind my statement. I didn't have the full authority to make that statement. And now I do." And that always stuck with me. Even saying it now, my heart's just like, God, that's freaking awesome. Just so resonates with that, because that's what I want to be. I so want to be in alignment with everything. I'm going to cry because I feel this so much, but I want to be in total alignment with everything that I say and do. And sometimes that means I talk slower and with more thought. And it's funny because I'll do videos, these YouTube videos, or sometimes I have clients that meet me after they've seen these videos, and they say, "You seem so, mellow and controlled, and then when you're talking to me, you're so animated and you get so excited, and when you're sharing, it's a totally different you." And I say, yeah, every experience I'm trying to be completely present at where I am. And sometimes the listening is more important than the speaking. And as a psychic, and that term is very loaded, and it's just a semantic, it's just a broad range, and I do use that because that term to define myself and describe myself in ways, because part of what I do is in alignment with that, and what psychics have been viewed to do in terms of looking at the future and viewing probabilities and outcomes. But I'm also a shaman and align with that label, and as a bridge just from the spirit world to the physical world. And within that, there's a ton of a different morality and ethics. And so I have to come from a space, and I believe it's important, and I would urge all of you that are going to meet with psychics, or anyone, even just a priest, or have a pastor that you look up to, or whoever you're looking to for help to make decisions in your life, really feel into where they're coming from. Align with them first. Feel the energy of their heart. Feel where they're coming from. And you can feel this, people. Come on, you can feel this. Don't feel from your mind behind what PhDs and titles they have. Feel from your heart. Feel if you connect and resonate with what they're sharing with you energetically before you open yourself to them in a physical way to ask your question. And that should give you peace. You should be directed by that more than anything else. And for those of you that are in my line of work and are not working on your spiritual own progression, I would say get your shit together. Come on. Like, this is not a role that we play and you choose to play lightly. And I say that in total love and respect. But you have a very serious responsibility if you're standing up, claiming to want to help and have answers in some way. Your responsibility is to spirit. It's not to other humans. It's to the source. And so stay in alignment with that. Stay pure in that intention to be clear with what source is putting through you. And honorable in that. See what else I want to say. And I'm not judging where you are. I realize that statement may sound judging and the energy of how I said it, but I do realize that there is a larger cosmic plan being balanced out, and everyone is at their level of development and their level of understanding. And so there's certain religions, processes, traditions, ceremonies, beliefs that may be relevant for every individual incarnation and experience in every moment. And I don't devalidate those. But for those that are in a line of work similar to mine, that are making a statement that they want to be used in this way, you have to constantly be working on you just as much. And your level of awareness, because you can only know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know, right? And although it's not through this mental capacity that we're sharing these things, we are using our own mental language to help give wording to what we're translating, what we're channeling, and what have you, in this culture, in this body, in this moment, with each client. So I just encourage you to take that very seriously. And don't get out there until you feel like you were ready. And it's your time. And you'll know that. It's different than insecurity. The doubt, you shouldn't have self-doubt because it's not coming from self. Anyhow, I could go on. I feel like I've tangented on this. Yeah, I feel okay with that. So I will leave you there and talk with you later.